What a Robert Redford meme tells us about Gen Z. Did you think it was Zach Galifianakis? Gen Z nods. Gen X gasps. After his death on Tuesday, fans began recirculating a popular gif of a bearded, unusually shaggy-haired Robert Redford nodding slowly as a camera pushes in on him. Wait, that was Robert Redford? Not Zach Galifianakis? Across social media, many were shocked that the leading sex symbol of the 1970s was the man in the meme. Others were shocked that those people mistook Redford for the famously disheveled comedian. Once and for all, that is Robert Redford as the title character in a 1972 Western titled Jeremiah Johnson. Zach Galifianakis is alive and well, he said through a representative that he was not available for comment. Zach Sweat, the managing editor at the meme archive Know Your Meme, wrote a comprehensive history of the Jeremiah Johnson nod of approval that traced its roots all the way back to Reddit in 2012. Sweat, 33, fondly remembers watching Jeremiah Johnson with his father and suspects that other people with warm fuzzy memories of the movies likely helped spread the meme. But Sweat thinks the confusion over Redford's identity may have been an even bigger factor. The whole phenomenon of people learning that it's not Zach Galifianakis has also probably contributed to its immortal nature as an evergreen meme, since people often share that discovery, and it then goes viral as others share similar experiences, Sweat wrote in an email. Coincidentally, when we were discussing the meme and Redford's death the other day among the Know Your Meme staff, the youngest member of our team confessed she thought it was Galifianakis, he wrote. So it's still happening today. People have been arguing about the identity of the nodding man for years. But this week, People magazine, Rolling Stone, USA Today, and Entertainment Weekly all ran stories about the confusion. It felt like a miniature version of 2015, when people couldn't stop arguing about whether the dress was blue or white. In this case, though, the Zach versus Robert argument has a definitive answer. And the online arguments, though mostly good-natured, hit at cultural fissures that cracked open to reveal a generational divide. Terry Brown, a podcaster from Des Moines, wrote on X, "The folks not knowing this is Robert Redford just reinforces my thesis that Gen X may be the last generation to have a working knowledge of pop culture that came before them." Greg Cantwell, a writer from Brooklyn, concurred. "We are the last generation that listened to our parents' albums, watched their movies, read their books," he wrote. "That's young people's Achilles heel. If you don't know where you've been, you can't know where you're going." Some young people in Brown's replies didn't think so. There were Zoomers who said they grew up watching reruns of Jeremiah Johnson. There were millennials who said they also enjoyed their parents' faves like the Beatles and The Godfather. Are young generations actually worse at consuming pop culture than previous generations? And is mistaking Robert Redford for Zach Galifianakis evidence of that? Jean Twenge, author of the book Generations, The Real Differences Between Gen Z, Millennials, Gen X, Boomers, and Silence, thinks this concern may be overblown. "I'd argue that Gen Z consumes more pop culture from earlier generations," Twenge wrote in an email. "It's available to them on streaming services." She specifically cited the TV show Friends, which was broadcast in the 1990s but is hugely popular among Gen Z today. "I think it's more that individual Gen Zers haven't seen the same pop culture," Twenge wrote. "A good number will completely miss pop culture references that the rest get instantly." A recurring motif in these online discussions about the Jeremiah Johnson nod is nostalgia for the serendipity of turning on the television to find a cancelled sitcom or an old black and white B-movie. True, young people today may not be watching reruns on TV. But it's peculiar to see their elders waxing wistful about the days of aimlessly watching non-primetime TV as if it were some virtuous historical investigation. I'm old enough to remember when adults told us that TV rots your brains. And while I loved watching Charlie's Angels and Fantasy Island, I couldn't say with a straight face that they made me any smarter or savvier than young people scrolling TikTok. Channel surfing and scrolling are both passive activities. Both offer entertainment in exchange for picking up a handheld device. Both sometimes deliver unexpected artifacts from the past. I would hazard to guess that more Zoomers than Boomers have listened to Connie Francis this year, considering how widely an audio clip of her song, Pretty Little Baby, circulated on TikTok. And if people of any age are curious about TV and movies of the past, it's never been easier to log on to YouTube and go hunting for treasure. For anyone interested in the source material of the Redford nod meme, Jeremiah Johnson is now streaming on Tubi. According to a representative from the streaming service, viewership of the movie has gone up 130% since Redford's passing. No word on how many tuned in thinking it was a Zach Galifianakis movie.